Welcome back. I am Mr. JDM, and today we're going to get this transmission separated from the old engine. We need to pull this off of this engine and install it onto here. We're going to get this intake manifold off and get this intake manifold installed. We're also going to get this engine on an engine stand and replace a few gaskets while we're at it. Another thing, anytime you have an engine out of the car, you should always replace every gasket you possibly can, just because it's easier to do so when the engine's out of the car. Plus, it'll save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Alright, let's start by jacking this engine up a little bit so we can access all the bolts on the transmission. And I believe all the bolts on the transmission are 17 millimeter. Alright, we have this one left, that one. Those two are being a major pain in the ass to get off, because they got rubber boots and the rubber boots are just like stuck to the metal. I'm gonna work on those for a minute. So there's the wiring harness. We're gonna have to do some major modification to it. Well, not major, but we're gonna do some modification to it to convert it to the multi-port or multi-point fuel injection. But we'll do that in a completely different video. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this mount. We'll probably have to pull the pulley off as well in order to get the cover off. And I'm not sure if this cover will fit on the ZC or not. It's a little difficult when the engine's swinging. We need the crank pulley anyway, because the CZ doesn't have one. That crank pulley does not want to come off. Alright, so the crank pulley is taking up too much of my time right now, so we're going to circle back to that. So I got the last bolt right here off, and there's a bracket, so we need to unbolt that. And we need to get the starter off. Alright, the starter's off, and we're going to get that bracket up underneath. I'm not going to record that. Alright, we got the transmission separated, and man, that is one dirty girl. We're going to clean her up, but I'm not probably going to do it on film. We still need to get that crank pulley off. Another thing we're going to need is this the fuel line hose. We need the throttle positioning sensor, but I don't know if you can use the same one on a multi-point fuel injection, but I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Alright, right now let's get started on this, get the intake off and get that intake on. So in order to take the intake off, you have all these 12 millimeter, there might be 14 millimeter, there's one missing right there, and there's usually one down here, but it's missing. And then you have one over here, and there's one down there on the bottom. I'm not real familiar with CZ engines, but what the hell is this? It looks like where a VTEC would go. None of these intake manifold nuts are even tight. All right, so we still have the it's the PVC to the air box. Seriously? Then we have these two hoses that we gotta disconnect. All right, can't really do this one-handed. Alright, so we gotta dig this gasket off. It looks fairly new, to be honest. But I'm not sure if it'll work with this manifold, because the manifold's only got one hole and there's two there. This one only had one as well. So I was digging around in my hoard and I found this gasket. It fits, but I don't really trust it much. I don't know how old it is, but I did order a whole gasket kit set. I'm not going to use half of this. I'll probably use them on my car, but I will use the intake manifold gasket and the throttle body gasket. Yeah, I would say this one's probably better just because it has this seal right here. But it still does have this extra hole. I guess it's universal. For automatics might have this. Who knows? Then I also have a new exhaust gasket. It included what looks to be a EGR gasket. I don't know what that's for. Unless that's what that one thing is on the back of the engine. It's an EGR. It actually comes with two. I'm not sure which one's which, to be honest. They both match up, so I don't know. I'd probably feel safer with this one. So I started taking the old gasket off and it just disintegrated. It's all stuck on there. It just won't come off. So I'm gonna have to spend some time to scrape this off. And once I'm done with that, we'll get the intake manifold put on. Alright, so this just came. Wasn't taped up real well. We got a new radiator, so we don't have to deal with that old junky one. That was an easy install. Alright, we got the old gasket off. We cleaned up the surface. We cleaned up all the surface for the hoses. We got this one. And one thing I noticed, this water neck is completely different, so we're going to have to swap it out with the one on that engine over there. And another thing I noticed is the valve cover stud, it's missing on this side. So I'm going to have to pull one from that engine and stick it on here. Alright, let's get this water neck off and get the other one off and swap them. Let's clean up the surface. Alright, now let's get this one off and get it swapped over. Alright, and let's put a little bit of gasket maker on there. This thing's all hard except for right here, so looks like I need to get some new. And it looks like I need to keep the cap on there. How do you all feel about putting gasket maker on the intake manifold with the gasket? I'm not sure. I've seen people do it, and I've done it myself and not had a problem, but are you supposed to do that or not? But right now we're going to start removing the fuel rail, the injectors, get everything we need off of this one so we can swap it onto the other one. We'll probably need the cable bracket, the throttle cable bracket. We definitely need the throttle body. The fuel rail has 3 10mm bolts. And there goes one. Damn it. There goes two. And three. And you want to be careful when you remove this. You might damage the fuel injectors, the O-rings that are in here. Alright, so it's starting to rain quite a bit more, and the wind is picking up, so I don't have any protection from it. It just blows right in. But we made some progress, not a whole lot. We got the transmission removed. We got this engine started. I mean, shit, actually we didn't do shit now that I think about it. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be all for this video. I appreciate y'all watching. Yeah, see you all in the next video.